Red Bull have certainly been the center of attention for Drive to Survive, and this episode was no different. Enter Alex Albon versus Pierre Gasly, episode entitled Raging Bulls. Welcome to my F1 channel, welcome to Peter on Pole. My name is Peter, in pole position in the lead up to Drive to Survive Season 3. It is coming up very, very close. We are going through every single episode from Seasons 1 to Season 3. And right now we're in Season 2, Episode 6, Raging Bulls. Gone with a different format this time round for the remaining of the season. I've gone with 3 things I have noticed from this episode. Pierre Gasly losing his seat at Red Bull to go to Toro Rosso, while Alex Albon from Toro Rosso goes into Pierre Gasly's seat at Red Bull. Unbelievable scenes. This was absolutely epic in the episode. Pierre Gasly, of course, not very happy at all with what's happened and what's taking place. And he's gone back to Toro Rosso, where he performed very well in the beginning, to come back and make a statement. Second thing I noticed, of course, is the passing of Antoine Herbert, who tragically passed away in one of the most dangerous circuits in Formula One in Belgium at the Spa circuit. And yeah, very, very, very sad, very sombering moment. It was a horrible accident. And this episode literally geared towards that. Very, very emotional end as well to the episode when the whole paddock is thinking about him. Formula 2, the division he was racing in, retired the number 19 number on the car because that was the number that Antoine had. So it was very, 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 very sombering. It was amazing how much of an impact, how much of an effect it had on the entire paddock. And when you consider Pierre Gasly as well, Albon, their first races of the season in the new teams now, but it was second compared to what happened and to the loss of Antoine. Third thing I noticed, Alex Albon, you know what? I need to give that man a break. The guy went through a lot. He went through a lot as a kid. 2012, we go back to the story where his mother had been jailed for fraud and she served 6 years in prison. You imagine 2012, Alex Albon, young kid, just a kid, losing his mother there. His dad lives in another country. His dad lives in Malaysia, whereas he, with his family in England, but from Thailand originally. It was quite an interesting story. He loses his seat in motorsport. He was in the junior sort of karts and things like that. And then he lost his seat, of course, because mum wasn't there. There wasn't enough money to provide for the family and for his Formula One and motor racing as a whole is an expensive sport. But eventually he lost his seat, and he went through a lot in those 2 to 3 years. He mentions that he wasn't in the right space, he wasn't in the right mind, and you couldn't blame the guy because you look at it, his world is kind of, it's not normal. It's not a normal upbringing for any child to go through. Never mind one with the father in another country altogether, and now the mother in jail as well. And you can see, the first race, like I say, is in Belgium. You can see like the amount of things he's come through. The fact that he came back 2014, Albon, he came back to racing, and he did well in Formula 2 the year prior, finishing third overall in the championship. He gets a random call that he finds from Dr. Helmut Marko, who by the way speaks in the episode, which I didn't know about. And yes, so he basically speaks to him and tells him, you can come and join the Toro Rosso team, which is like the junior team, if you will, the sister team. And, before you know it, his life changes dramatically because halfway in the season, he is now moving to the major team, into the big seat in Red Bull. His first race, of course, with everything going on, it wasn't easy at all for Alex Albon. And he really did struggle in the start of the race. He was having a tough race. He qualified, I think, was it... I can't remember. He said he was 0.3 off Lewis Hamilton, they said, and which was a great start, great qualifying for him. But because of a penalty, Red Bull had to serve a penalty for their engine. I don't know if it's because they replaced the engine. I can't remember what the penalty exactly was for, but he had to start at the back of the grid. And starting at the back of the grid, he was trying to get through cars. It was very, very tough, very, very difficult. And then you sort of get the flashbacks of him and thinking about Antoine, talking about how this is a guy who I raced with like my whole career. And so, of course, there's that, there is that. How do I get up and jump on the same track like the next day and start racing? Like, how do I even do that? And he was talking about he didn't have any sleep. Christian Horner comes in and obviously talks to him and says, look, Antoine would have given his right arm to be where you are right now, so do it for him, kind of thing. And, you know, it's a dramatic sort of start of the race. It's long, it's hard for Alex Albon, but in the end, he gets to 5th place, from the back of the grid up to 5th. So fair play to Alex Albon. A man showed a great character. That's one thing I definitely noticed in him. There is some character in that man. And although right now he's not in the Red Bull main seat at the moment, I do think that this is a kid who, because of how much he's gone through, don't underestimate him. He could be back. And he's bounced back from a lot worse. So fair play to Alex Albon. Those were the 3 things I noticed. Let me know in the comment section below what you noticed about this episode. Great episode as well, but also a very emotional one. The episode ends, of course, remembering Antoine, and you know, there's no other way, no better way I would have put it myself. So yeah, that was Drive to Survive, episode 6, Raging Bulls. With that said, peeps, lights out.